It is 10 cards rated day 290 of the Grand Experiment, and we are live on twitch.tv/SBMTGDev. I'm going to be looking over at them from time to time, asking maybe what they feel about a card or two. Won't that be nice? Don't you wish you were here? Twitch.tv/SBMTGDev. Link in the description, go over there, but let's go ahead and see what the first card of the day is. It is Sublime Archangel Kids. That's a pretty good card, man. Currently about $2.36. From Magic 2013. 4 mana, 2 and double white for a 4/3 angel with flying and exalted. Other creatures you control have exalted. Pretty good. We're already getting a 6.8 from the Optimator in chat. We're already getting a 6.8. It is an angel. She is angel. She also kind of puts 5 power on the table. A little bit. And she probably puts a lot more than that. If you're playing the exalted deck, pretty good. You know, if you're not playing the exalted deck, pretty bad. If you're playing Squall, right? We just got Squall in the Final Fantasy set, the 4 mana one. Goes really well with this. It wants creatures to attack alone. So I guess if you're looking for a cheap cut, like a deep cut for your Squall deck, this goes in probably. Altogether, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. You know, 5.8. What are you guys saying? 5.78 from Wizard Flesh. Hey, great minds. Great minds. It's not bad. My friend has a Squall deck and it's serious business. Honestly, the card is intimidating. Like as a commander, it looks like it'd be pretty good. Really. But yeah, Archangel is more than fine. 5.8. I feel generous today. Next is Stronghold Arena. That's an interesting one to get. A 10 cents rare that just rotated out of standard. It's from Dominaria United originally. This is 2 mana, 1 on a black for an enchantment with kicker, green and or white. So you can pay an extra green or you can pay an extra white, or you can pay both if you want to. When Arena enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life for each time that it was kicked. You gain whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you may reveal the top card of your library and put it into your hand. If you do, you lose life equal to its mana value. Now, I think this card is actually okay in casual commander, but a lot of work. You know, like it's not just Phyrexian Arena. You have to deal combat damage to people, and then you have to lose the life. You see, so it's like Dark Confidant. That's also a Phyrexian Arena. That's also a Gix because you have to deal with combat damage, and it's just altogether, it's a bit much. You know, you don't have to gain any life off of this. If you do, I guess that's cool. I guess it's cool if you do, if you can, whatever. If you want to proc life gain triggers, if you're in black-white, this could be, you know, a life gain thing that also draws you cards. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily. But all things considered, I don't think this is quite as reliable as it needs to be. You know what I mean? At all to actually do the thing for you. And I think there's better ways to fill these slots in your deck. Even in casual command if you're looking for card draw. But if you got a lot of unblockable guys or death touch guys or whatever, like this is just another way to draw cards. There's nothing wrong with that. Theoretically. And a life gain deck can take the losing a little bit of life. A life gain deck is usually low on the curve too, so it won't be taking a lot of damage to this card. There's that. Altogether, I will give this card a 4.65. 4.65, I think is correct. It's not bad. It's not a bad card. I think there are better options, and this is a slight trap. I don't think this is all the way a bear trap that your leg gets stuck in and now you're out in the woods forever and you're probably going to starve out there. I don't think it's that kind of trap. I think it's the kind of trap that like a snare, like a little rope, like pulls your leg, you know, and it tightens around your leg. But whatever reason, it doesn't have enough weight on it to pull you all the way up and turn you upside down and hang you there by your leg. It doesn't have enough force, you know, it's a trap. It'll get you a little bit, but I don't think it'll leave you all the way stranded in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? I think it's fine. It's fine. It's fine sometimes. I'm gonna give it a 4.65. You got to be an Abzan color combination too for what that's worth. Talismans we have done before. I give these close to an 8, something like that. They're just very playable cards. Case of the Shifting Visage from Murders at Karlov Manor Commander, an 18 cents rare. 3 mana, 1 in double blue for an enchantment. It's a case. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. All right. To solve, there are 15 or more cards in your yard. That's a lot. Solved, whenever you cast a non-legendary creature spell, copy that spell. Okay. That's a really cool payoff. That is a very, very cool payoff. You have to wait a turn to solve it, and then, like, untapping your next turn with it. This is the problem with cases. This is like the big problem with cases, is that you have to wait an entire turn to actually use them. Even if they're solved the moment they come into play, you have to hit the end step, then you have to untap with them and play to actually do much with them. So there's that. Beginning of your upkeep, Surveil once. The card literally does nothing the turn it comes into play. And even if you wait an entire turn for it to do something, you got to Surveil. Yippee skippy, dude. This could work kind of well, I guess, if the deck is exactly built around just it. But then it's just like a random card in your 99 you built the entire thing around. This is a trap. Could you think, oh, I'll just mill myself, like I'll just play a bunch of mill cards in my deck and have 15 like guaranteed by the time I cast this, and then like now whenever I cast my creatures I copy them. And like the thing is, to mill yourself that much, you probably have to have a lot of non-creatures in your decks. Like how many creatures do you even have in the deck to copy in the first place? And it just costs too much. There's too much setup involved, dude. I'm gonna give this like a 2.7. I think this is probably pretty bad. It seems cool. I'm not saying it's a poorly designed card. It seems cool. But again, I actually think this one is like way more of a trap, all things considered. If you can copy your creature spells, and it's not like limited to once a turn either, that's dope. But I think that like the setup is a lot harder. And again, you build your deck and commander around it. It's like, well, I have to have a bunch of tutors to make sure I get this card. But I also have to have a bunch of and those are non-creatures, right? But I also have to have a bunch of mill cards. Those are usually non-creatures, right? So it's really hard to build a deck around this and still have, the ability to reliably go get it and copy a bunch of the creatures, because you don't have that many creatures in your deck. You know what I'm saying? I want the card to work out, but I'm just not super sure. I'll round it up to a 3. I think it's cool. Very cool. Rolling Hamsphere, everybody. It's the hamster ball. I love this card so much. This is about 25 cents from Bloomborough Commander. It is 7 mana for a 4/4 vehicle artifact. It gets +1/+1 for each hamster you control. Whenever Rolling Hamsphere attacks, create 3/1/1 red hamster creature tokens. Then it deals X damage to any target, X being the number of hamsters that you control this cruise for 3. This is in my Bellow Bard of Brambles deck right now. And it's really, really fun there. It's so fun there, but this could go in a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of people like kind of poo-poo this because, oh, it's hamsters and it's stupid. I don't like Magic when it's funny. It's like, shut up. You take yourself and your hobby like way too seriously. Magic has been wacky since 1994. Like Rabid Wombat is in Legends. Like, stop. They've been doing wacky stuff the whole time. They've been doing squirrels for 20 years now, 25. Like, hamsters are fine, dude. I don't know why there are people in the world that look at this and they think, that's stupid, I don't like it. It's like, do you remember when you were a joyful person? Do you remember when you had joy and warmth and love in your heart for the world around you and the fascinating things in it? Do you remember that? Just can you tap into that a little bit? I'm a cynic too, but geez. Anyway, I like hamsters. And so I like this card. But the fact of the matter is, this card is good. This is actually a good Magic card in a lot more decks than you'd think. It's not as narrow as it may appear, is what I'm saying. This I'm going to give a 5.7 to. I'm going to do it. Were hamsters a creature type in Bloomborough? No, they were not. Weirdly. Yeah, this is just reflavored Mere Battlesphere, and everyone loves Mere. Yeah, everyone especially loves Mere Battlesphere. Vox Seeker. You're 100. It is, Zox Seeker. It is very reminiscent of Mere Battlesphere. Very. And people love that, but no, it's hamsters. So they're, cynics and weirdos in the world that are just like, I don't like it. It's like people hated that Cactar in Final Fantasy. There's seriously so many people I've seen on like content creators and stuff too, who are like, oh, it does 1,000 damage. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's not Magic. It's like, dude, when did you get like this? When did you allow yourself to become this person? I just, no fun allowed in my game. It's like, stop. I've been playing this game for 30 years, my guy. I'm in my 40s. It's like, what happened to you? You know what I'm saying? What happened to you? Was it the internet? Was it being a nerd culture guy? You know what I mean? Like, I swear, I just saw, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to shade or anything, but I just saw a guy like give all of his reasons for leaving his channel, for not doing his Magic the Gathering YouTube channel anymore. And one of them was the whole like, well, new people are coming into the game and I think that's bad. I think it's bad. You know, like when nerd culture gets infiltrated by new people, that's bad. It's like, what happened to make you a black-hearted, you know what I mean? Just like cynical, just like you're one of those people. You're just like, I don't like when new people play my game. It's bad when things that I like become mainstream. It's like you sound like a child. Like, anyway, that was quite the stun lock. Anyway, Rolling Hamster is a 5.7. Please get some love in your life. Please get some joy in your life. Please want other people to experience the things that bring you joy. Why is it a problem? Next is Sphinxs Revelation. This card is crazy. This is a good Magic card for sure. Have we done Sphinxs before? I'm going to pretend we haven't. Sphinx is white, double blue, and X for an instant. You gain X life. You draw X cards. I am cranked up. I am so sorry over how cranked up I am right now. But why are people that way? Sphinxs Revelation is apparently only the 4th card we've done, and we are 11 minutes into this video. This is great. What do you give Sphinxs? Ask the audience. Ask the audience. What do you guys think? Sphinxs Revelation. What do you score this card? He has to know. I think this is a kind of a legendary Magic card at this point. This is one of those that most people know, even if they weren't playing when it came out, you know? All right. Interesting. We actually have like, read please. Did I not read it? X white, double blue, instant. You gain X life, draw X cards. Sorry. It's possible that I did already say it, but like maybe you were doing the dishes and you weren't listening. It's fine. I do that all the time. So 3 mana and X for an instant. Gain X, draw X. Simple as. We've gotten a bunch of ratings already down there, and I largely agree with the ratings that we're getting. Extraordinaire says 6.85. Wizard Flesh 6.5. Optimator 6.6. That's interesting how like close the ratings are, right? Quick Psych, solid 7. Riffraff says it is a 9. That's a 9 to Riffraff. I think that Sphinxs is a solid 7. Right at. I'd say that honestly, the people giving it like a 6.6, 6.8 in chat are probably closer in reality, but Sphinxs does, I'll put it this way. Sphinxs is one of those cards that's kind of generically good and you can just play it in your commander deck or whatever, you know? But I think in a lot of decks, it's not narrow. Well, let me say that a different way. I think that it also works in a lot of decks that it does have synergy in, you know, where like drawing a bunch of cards does something or gaining a bunch of life does something. Like Hope S Time is a good example of a deck this goes really well in that we like just got. So good in life gain decks, good in control decks, good in just decks that want to draw cards, which is every deck. Good in decks that make a lot of mana, you know, like Bant Ramp and stuff like that. If you have an infinite mana combo, this goes really well. So it's in the same color as Thassa's Oracle, so if you can draw your entire deck, you win the game. There's a lot of things that Sphinxs Revelation does beyond being generically good, right? So I think I'll just throw a 7 on it. I think that's about right. It could be more. You know, here's the deal. If like a Wrath of God or a Day of Judgment is a 7.5, then I think Sphinxs could be like a 7.5 too. I think it could. You know, when it was Standard Legal, it was the ultimate finisher. Draw 5, game 5's hard to overcome. Impossible. You know, in Standard, this card was a beast, an absolute beast. And yeah, it's an instant. It is an instant. A couple people are like, oh yeah, it's an instant. Yeah, of course. It is an instant. Very good. There are some commander decks that could easily cast this multiple times in a game. I just think it's a good card. 7.5. Seriously. 7.5. Next is Basim Ibn Ishaq. We've done this card before. And yet, still have to pronounce its name. I do like it. It's a good card. Next is Fireball. We've never done Fireball. We have never done this card here on the series. Man, the one from Commander 2013 looks good. That's a good red. This is in a World Championship deck because it was in Dark Steel. I remember that. I remember this being like a played card in Dark Steel. Huh. Man, this was printed a bunch. This was printed so many times before they just completely stopped printing it. You know what I mean? So, Fireball is X and a red for a sorcery. It costs 1 more to cast for each target beyond the first, and it deals X damage divided evenly, rounded down, among any number of targets. They stopped printing this card because the rules are kind of wonky. Like, they're not that hard to understand. They're really not. But they could just print a card that doesn't do that. And does something a lot simpler, you know what I mean? Deals that much damage to every creature, or deals that much damage to one guy, or whatever. So we're more likely to see Blaze, Karavic's Torch, a million other X spells than we are Fireball. But Fireball's the OG. Fireball's the OG, and this has been winning games of Magic since 93, along with Channel and Black Lotus. It's part of like one of the most famous combos in the history of Magic, you know. If you want a beta one, about $38. Pristine beta Fireball for $38. I think you could make a point that's worth it. Like one of the most iconic Magic cards of all time from one of the first printings of Magic, less than $50. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's actually like not a bad buy, but you can get it from Revise for 40 cents. This will always have a special place in my heart. Honorary 5. Honorary 5, and it is not even close. Absolutely. Yeah, somebody said honorary 5 at least. Yeah, 100% honorary 5. I think if I had to rate this for real, it would still be like a 4.5. It's not bad, but honorary 5 for sure. Next is Waterspot Warden from Bloomborough. 3 mana, 2 and a blue for a 3/2 Frog Soldier. When it attacks, if another creature entered the battlefield under your control this turn, Warden gains flying until end of turn. So a Windrake with an extra power if you work for it. If you're playing guys, pretty normal, 2.3, something like that. Next is Repeating Barrage from Ixalan. I like this. Was this supposed to be the new Hammer of Bogarden? I think it was. 3 mana, 1 and 2 red for a sorcery that deals 3 damage to a creature or player. It also has Raid. You can pay 3 and double red, return Repeating Barrage from your yard to your hand. Activate only if you attacked with a creature this turn. So I always thought the with a creature was weird. Why is that? That's just extra words. Activate this ability only if you attack this turn. Just write it that way. Anyway, this was supposed to be the new Hammer, and no one played it because Hammer of Bogarden is not a good Magic card anymore. But I will still give this like a 4. I really will. It's sorcery speed, but it's still removal. It's a burn spell that can go face. And in Commander, you're attacking every turn. Sure, you're not wanting to use your mana this way, but if you have no other way to use your mana, like, at least do this. You know, I don't think that Hammer of Bogarden is very good. I really don't, but I still always kind of like this card. I'm going to throw at least like 4.3. You know, like it's not that high. 4. I'll give it a solid 4 and move on. I think that Repeating Barrage is cool, if nothing else. Yeah, 3. No, it's a removal spell. Removal spells are, 3 at the bottom, unless they're like really bad removal spells. Arkbound Sly is 2 mana. It is a 0/0 artifact Slith, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. It has modular 1. It's originally printed in Darksteel. Also got the call in a Plane Chase to get printed, but hasn't been printed much. Sliths generally do this. You 2 mana guys that deal combat damage, they get a little bit larger, and it comes into play with 1 +1/+1 counter. A lot of Sliths too from that day and age were 2 mana 1/1s. So they have to deal a lot of combat damage to become like, a good rate for the cost. But we've seen creatures like this see some play in standard environments before. That said, just not that great. So I'm going to give you a 2.4 or thereabouts. I think it could potentially get large in Commander where it can like always find a place like a crack to get in. But it's not worth putting in your deck, right? Next is Water Servant, 4 mana. This is from Magic 2011. 2 and double blue for a 3/4 elemental. Pay a blue, it gets +1/-1 till end of turn. Pay a blue, it gets -1/+1 till end of turn. So an Etherling or a Morphling, really, that you can't give hexproof to. So it defeats the purpose of the card. It does have this, like, I get a little bit larger. Oh, now I get a little bit bigger. Now my toughness gets higher. Now my power gets higher. Well, I'm going to shrink. I'm going to grow. It does all the Morphling stuff besides the important thing. So I'm going to give this like a 2.4. At least it's kind of cool. Final card of the day is Silvala Explorer Returned here. This is 3 mana, 1, a green and a white for a 2/4 legendary elf scout with Parlay. You can tap it. Each player reveals the top card of his or her library. For each non-land card revealed this way, add green to your pool and gain 1 life. Then each player draws a card. This is originally printed in Conspiracy, but it's had a few printings since then, but it's like 20 cents for each printing except for the secret layer drop one, which is randomly $10 for no apparent reason. But this has always been a neat card. This has always been a cool card for like Group Hug or Pillow Fort Selesnya decks and stuff. I don't hate her. I really don't. I think she's got her place like in Commander. I don't know how many people play it anymore, but you know, this gives you a bunch of mana. It gives you life gain triggers if you want them. And each player draws a card means that you draw one too. This won't be removed as easily because everybody likes drawing cards, you know. So good ramp here. I think it's actually like pretty solid, reliable ramp that draws a card, and that's a fine card. So it doesn't really, you know, it kind of depends on what deck you're building, but I'd still give this like a 5.4 on a good day. You know, it's 6.1, something like that. I think it's not too bad. So Explorer, I barely even know her. Good job, Renaki Pikawa. I don't know that I've done a good, but even though we hardly know her joke tonight. Thanks for getting one in for us. But getting one in? But anyway, yeah, 5.4, and I kind of want to go higher. I've always kind of liked this card. But that is it for day 190. We are 21 minutes in. That's long enough, right? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Twitch people, stick around. Bye, everybody.